Welcome to the Think Big Dentistry Show. I'm Marilee Sears, and I'm joined by the biggest thinker that I know in dentistry and beyond, Dr. John Gordon. Today, we're going to inspire you. We're going to challenge the way that you think, and we're definitely going to help you to grow. So, Dr. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Marilee. It's a great day here in Kansas City. The sun is shining, and it is 28 degrees, and I get to talk with you, and we get to share some thoughts and some ideas with our audience in here, and that's exciting for me. Just putting material out there that I think will help people now, and something that they don't have to wait around or think about doing is that just sharing information that is applicable today.
Absolutely. Every single time we have a conversation, I come away with many, many insights. And so we've had a chance to talk about the time and effort and dedication that you've been putting into preparing for this show and the many shows that are going to be coming this year. So I can't wait to just jump right in.
Yeah. And that's a fun thing for me, Marilee, is researching information and digging and going into the internet and continuing to read my books. I have a stack of books to my right over here, and finding information out about where we're going with the future, and learning from this last year, this 2020, and so it's energizing for me, and I love doing the homework for people and just saying, okay, here it is. In 20 minutes, let's 15 minutes, let's share with them what we've learned, and so that they can go out and start doing it immediately and planning their new story.
Yeah. Writing their new story, planning their new story, writing their new story, living that new story. Yeah. I think everybody's really anxious for that, ready for that.
They are. And one of the themes I thought for today is 3 words: let it go. The theme song from Frozen, the Let It Go, that comes to mind is that at this point in time right now, we really cannot grasp our future in 2021 if we're going to continue to hang on to what happened and the struggles of 2020. They happened. They are in the past now. We're still experiencing some of the spinoff and the collateral damage that's going on. People are still dying from the virus. We're looking at a continued escalation of the pandemic issues here. And when that's going to stop, we really don't know. The word normal does not exist anymore, because what's normal today may not be tomorrow. One of the things that we really learned from the pandemic was that time sped up.
Yes.
Time zoomed ahead. And that's an interesting thing here that occurred. I'll share with you one thing that astounded me was look at the educational system and what's happened with higher education and high schools and junior highs and whatever is, how they had their total system disrupted the second week of March. And they had virtually no time to refigure, recalculate, and redesign the educational system with no governmental financial help in doing so, basically. How can we really create a relevant experience with students? And it trickled all the way down from the administrative people to the teachers at hand. And the teachers at hand, here's the problem they're having to solve, is that they are not only teachers, they have to be entertainers. Because you're putting children in front of a screen where their attention span is like that of a fly, unless you capture their attention and their imagination. And if you're just sitting here talking like we are to an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old through Zoom on the other side, you give it a minute or two, boom, their attention's gone. And to regain it is a challenge. So the teachers are having to learn, like that, how to become online Zoom educators. So that happened in a very short time period. So what took them, they've been looking at online courses for quite some time, dibble dabbling with it and trying to figure out how to make it happen. Well, in a few months, they had to figure it out. They had to figure it out and understand how to be successful with it. And so we really don't know what's going to happen with the children in the future with this education. Is it going to be as good? Are they going to learn as much? Or on the other side, are they going to be learning more appropriate information for themselves? And it's one of those situations to where, again, we're seeing a split, more of a split in society of the haves and the have-nots.
Absolutely.
We're seeing more of, like in the education, the students that excel with this and the students that won't. And that is affecting that population of children. And so we have to be very careful about the gap. And we have to look at the gap in everything that we do and how do we close that gap as best we can with the reality that we know that it'll never close. And knowing, okay, how do we bridge that gap through the years, knowing it's still going to stay there? So how do we do that? So that's one big thing that has come about from this. The one other thing is that, we're talking about time. And 2020 seemed like forever, didn't it?
It did. It did. But at the same time, Dr. John, I don't know if this happened to you, that it would be like November and I would be making a reference to July, because while it seemed like it was forever, every day kind of felt the same to me as well. So I forgot about the seasons. I almost had to look at the calendar to remember what was going on, because every day did feel like the previous. But yes, 2020 seemed like forever.
Yeah, it kind of brought to mind to me is like, what day is it? What day is? Remember the camel? Okay. Mikey, what day is it? Well, that's kind of what happened when we were shut down during the pandemic. It was, okay, what day is today? About 10 days out, every day was the same. And it was, what is today? And so, but literally, Marilee, 2020 was longer. It was a leap year. So we had one more day. So
that's what it was. That's what it was that made it feel so long.
That's it. It was a leap year. So here's what happened with a lot of companies and, the gap getting wider. Apple took 42 years for Apple to go from its inception to $1 trillion of net worth.
42 years.
42 years from the time that those guys were in the garage building the motherboard out of junk to reach 1 trillion. In the pandemic, Marilee, it took 1 month to go from 1 trillion to 2 trillion for Apple.
You're kidding me.
1 month.
1 month. I'm curious, 1 month, that has to be what, like 1,000 times faster.
Remarkable.
That's amazing.
Elon Musk, in 1 month, his value increased $35 billion.
Billion.
1 month. 1 month.
That's
So
insane.
what the pandemic has done, it created a sense of urgency with people to where we had to narrow, we didn't have to, their innovation, their assertiveness, their pivoting, big word, big word, their ability to pivot and move forward shrunk dramatically. And the consumer changed their habits dramatically. We were an online purchaser.
Mhm.
It soared during that time frame.
Absolutely. Do you mind? Like one thing that I've noticed, because I'm the kind of person that I want to go to restaurants. We're not allowed to eat in restaurants right now, and
Yeah.
so I'll go pick up things to go. I will tell you, pre-pandemic, when I would go to get takeout, it was like you'd see a DoorDash or a Uber Eats,
Yeah.
every once in a while. Now I would say it's more of those people in the line picking up than it is
Yes.
like the customer picking up their own food.
Yes.
Yes.
People want to get out, but they want to get out for just exactly what they want to get out for. We've taken a cleaver to our lives. We've taken a machete and we've cleaved our lives down to this. Instead of having this, we've gone down to this. And you know what? We don't miss the fat that we have trimmed. And
Right.
we do not mind driving up for carry out because it gives us that outing. Then we can return to the comfort of our home, which we're all starting to really enjoy our homes. The home industry, Lowe's and Menards and Home Depot and other things that sell home trinketry and home decorations have boomed. People are at home and they're looking at, this is where I live. I really want to fix it up because I'm loving my home. Mary and I are enjoying staying home. And fortunately, the bug didn't bite her to go to the internet and buy a bunch of stuff like that.
You guys already had and have a gorgeous home, but just like you said, for those who are like, yeah, maybe I never really noticed I didn't like my rug color before, or maybe I never bothered to notice that there was like that little stain on the rug, but now it's like glaring,
Yeah,
right? Those things are becoming, and we want to, as you said, love our space.
exactly. And yeah, I have a workout area in the basement. And it's down by the furnaces. It's in the furnace room. And it's perfect size for me. I've got my workout stuff down there. I've got a little golf net and mat to do indoor golf in the winter and stuff down there. But the one thing that was missing was I love Fraser fir candles. I love the smell of Fraser firs. So what did I do? I've ordered 3 Fraser fir candles to enhance my in-home environment, to bring the outdoors in. The Fraser fir is a predominant smell out in Colorado. And so us having a home out there and smelling that out there, it's like, I want to bring that into the house. So I have one in my office and I have 2 downstairs in my workout. I love seeing the light of the candle flicker. I love hearing the crackling sound of the candle, and I love the smell. And so we're creating our environments and we're wanting a little bit richer experience, even on our own homes, in a simple way. We don't want necessarily to go to the grandioso. We're okay by making minor changes, and that's one. And so that's one thing that is happening with us.
Okay, Dr. John, just to build on that, I completely agree. I have a candle going right here, right now, like candles have become, and I recognized, is it the woodwick? I was just gonna say it's the woodwick. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I have one, I love that one. And as you said, the crackle of the wooden wick, I love that,
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
I have come to realize, just as you said, I like to have music going in my home. Like it has taken on almost a different, how can I don't know how to put it into words very well, but my home, I think, has taken on a different level of importance to me.
Yes.
Where before I always wanted to be kind of neat and clean. Now it's like I want it to have a certain feeling. I want it to have, it needs to be able to to feel comfortable enough and inspiring and peaceful, things that maybe I didn't care so much about before because I was distracted.
Yeah.
And now I'm very singularly focused. And so if the music's not on, if it's messy at all, it gets to me so much more than it did before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. There is the Asian Clean Energy Summit occurred, I don't remember exactly when, it's been within the last year or so. And so what they came away from that was, how can we clean up and enjoy our environment? What can we do that will have a less of a negative impact upon our environment? And so a lot of people have gone more green. And so with the pandemic, people they don't want to travel public transportation. So what's happened is you've seen a huge jump in e-bikes, e-scooters, and small scooters. And I've seen that around here in Kansas City, is that there's, a lot more people are out walking than in the past. And so they're taking transportation more simply. I don't get out a lot. And so, my tank of gas goes a lot further than it used to. And so what's happened is Elon Musk with Tesla had a record year of sales of his automobiles. He went now to where he is the highest valued corporation, automotive wise, than the other four majors combined.
Wow.
The other four majors usually sell 4.7 to 5 million cars a year. Elon Musk this last year sold 500,000, and his value is greater than the other four.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the electrical vehicle. And so when I learned that, I thought, why is this like that? So I went to the Tesla website. I thought, oh, okay. Buying experience. Let's see what this is about. It took me 5 minutes, Marilee, to design my automobile. And all I had to do was just go punch. And all I had to put down was, I think, $100 deposit.
Really?
And then get the financing. They offered financing, but then you could get the financing. It was a minimal deposit to get the car going. But I was able to choose everything I wanted. Now, granted, your options are limited, but that's okay because you're getting a very nice, a well-engineered automobile that is efficient and comfortable. All on the internet.
All on the internet.
5 minutes. You can create a $75,000 to $125,000 automobile in 5 minutes, put $100 down, and you got the thing going. Now, interesting thing about it, during the pandemic and whatever, automobile sales obviously dropped dramatically because people were going out. But what was happening is that people were shopping online, like I was talking about with Tesla. 80% of car buyers now shop or do their research before they go to the dealership online. We get confused with the normal automotive dealers because there's so many options and you give up. So they need to simplify. The prototype is out there, Tesla. And if the other corporations don't want to come around to that buying experience, you're going to see Tesla just flat out take over more than they are now, the automotive industry, because people can go online and have a wonderful experience, seamless, 5 minutes, you've got it purchased. 60% of kids between the ages of 20 and 35 will buy their automobiles online versus go to the dealership.
Unbelievable. Okay, and I'm thinking about the other ramifications of this. Is you think about it, it's like you could potentially, if you wanted to, if you're on social media, you could have your friends vote on what color of interior you wanted to use, right? You could, what I'm saying is, as you have this online experience, There's so many ways that it makes it easier and also makes it more shareable. I mean, it's almost like people do post pictures when they get their new car, but you could just say like, hey, I just designed this, and you could share that with your friends, with your spouse, with your family, or on social media. That's a whole other thing that's like, wow, what an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. So then I extract this information and I look at it and go, how does this apply to dentistry?
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty darn obvious, isn't it? You need to have a superb website and internet presence.
Absolutely.
You have got to do it. The time is here. And if you haven't up to this point, you're losing. You're going to be losing the game. If you're not on the first page right now and you don't have growth towards that first page, you're losing big time. So you better get your act together. You better get with a really, really good internet marketing agency and get your act together, because it's a huge pivot point, just staring us right in the face. The other thing is Tesla is a niche. It is an above average cost automobile. When you say Tesla, people go, expensive.
Exactly.
What is that telling us? People will buy niche. There is not a shortage, merely, of people that want niche product, niche experience. So the thing is, you better have a hyper targeted customer experience. So this is where the general dentists and the DSOs are going to lose big time. They're going to be clumped. This is where the gap, merely, you're going to have the gap to the left, where you're going to have the conservative people keep their conservative practices and try to treat everybody, and it isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. Then you're going to have the niche people that have figured it out and are going to have that hyper targeted, exceptional customer experience and provide an exceptional product that changes people's lives, and they're going to soar. So I am more convinced than ever. People, when they buy Teslas, they're putting money out because that's something that they want. And the audience and the customers don't lie. All you got to do is watch what's happening and figure it out, and then apply it to your practice. People, there's a sector of people that want these things. So listen to them and give them what they want, instead of you giving them what you think they want or what you want to give them. Have a remarkable entry experience into your practice. Have a remarkable experience when they walk through that door every time. Talk to them about their niche wants. Ask them, give it to them, love them, embrace them, provide them hope, provide them a great leadership experience, and you will flourish beyond belief.
I don't know if they're looking at Apple and at Tesla, seeing the speed of their growth. As you said, there is so much opportunity out there, as long as we're also willing to follow the trends, and the data tells a story. Dr. John, what you've shared with us today tells a remarkable story of the opportunities that are available if we're willing to pivot and change and specialize. Specializing within the general practice is so vitally important. So I hope that dentists and their teams listen to those questions and those points that you just said throughout, but especially in the last 2-3 minutes, of what people are looking for and what's going to make them stand out online and in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Because it's huge.
It is huge. It is huge.
Those that are there are going to be plenty that get left behind, but there's never been a greater opportunity for those that want to stand out and differentiate themselves.
Albert Einstein, what's his saying? Early, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. And so again, what you do with the pivoting, the strategy, the vision, the revisioning, your leadership skills and whatever. And so these are topics that we'll talk about in future coming up. I'm just kind of throwing some things out there. We'll talk a little bit more about this. This is a Apple iPod from way back, the music pod, you know, where they said, let's put 2,500 songs on a little gizmo. That's after they started as a computer company. Okay, so we'll talk about the progression from the computer to this, to that.
Amazing. I can't wait.
Marilyn,
I can't wait.
in 2019, Apple sold $20 billion worth of iWatches and earpods.
Yeah.
Now, tell me that Apple hasn't pivoted numerous
Exactly.
I will go through the tracks of what Apple has done and where they're heading right now. And let's do that in our next one, because that'll be a great example of what opportunity lies out there. All you got to do is sit back a little bit. And this is where, you know, I just retired. And if I was 20 years younger, man, I would be knocking it dead with thinking and visioning and planning. But that's what I'm going to be doing with my son, Philip. And hopefully with some of the people here, our audience gets with us and goes, hey, let's do this together, because that's kind of what we're about.
Exactly. I was going to say, I hope your ears just perked up when he said that Dr. John now has more time and he is an incredible resource. So that's what we want to be for you guys, is you don't have to do this completely on your own, right?
No.
You bring the passion, you bring what you're interested in. We're here to help you really create that vision and do that revisioning and rebranding and really revamping your practice in 2021 and beyond. So we're going to continue to bring you incredible information, but you can obviously reach out to us, and we can't wait to hear what you've taken away from today and continue the conversation.
Yeah. So it's been fun, Marilee. Good conversation. We hope we
pleasure.
And go out and change somebody. Okay. We'll until our next podcast, Marilee, have a great day.
See you, Dr.